All right, good day, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Live the Fuel show. So I'm excited to be recording here today because I just got back from yet another ski trip. For those of you that are long fans of this show, I like to go to high altitude. I like to go to big mountains, and I find it recharging me. Even in the winter season, we know about these seasonal effectiveness disorders. We've talked about on the show in the past. The closer I can get to the sun, if that means going up to 12,000 feet to go skiing, I'm going to do that. But on that note of health, we're going to have a healthy podcast today. We might hit a little on business. The gentleman I'm bringing on today knows a little bit about, obviously, being from the physician side of things, understanding the business side of things. I joke around about my wife on the show over the years about not every doctor knows and understands business until they get into it, and then they're forced to learn it. But more importantly, today's episode, for his background, I wanted to hit more specifically around what's going on with injectable medications versus popping pills and these GLP-1's. And there's all kinds of new vernacular that's been out there for a little bit, but for a lot of you out there, it's very new. And I wanted to hit on that specific theme. For those of you who know the show, my dad's a type 2 diabetic. He became that way. He was not born that way. He's not type 1. My family does have a weight management issue. Not everybody does the quote unquote crazy healthy things that I do in my life. But here's a quick skinny on the guy, literally. So he's revolutionizing weight loss industry. He's got a natural approach, which is I'm a fan of. Stop this pharmaceutical Band-Aid thing and let's get natural, let's get real, let's get pill-free if we can. But again, he's up to over 75,000 people with their lives. So that's why right there, when I see numbers like that, I got to talk to him. He's pioneered a lot of different ways around metabolic optimization. And I've talked about people being metabolically broken on this show. It is reversible. It is healable. We have evidence and proof now that type 2 diabetes, like my own father has, is reversible. It is healable. It is recoverable. And so anyway, long story short, his system is now used by over 140 healthcare providers. So he's established. And I want to hit on those key areas around GLP-1s and other things today. So without further ado, Dr. Todd Cevene, sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So let's hop in, bro. I threw out some words, and I wanted to know if I set you off at all or you agreed. So I threw out pharmaceutical Band-Aids. I've been using it for years. I hope you like it.
Sure.
I didn't make it up. I learned it from another health expert. I'm like, ooh, gonna use that one, gonna keep that one, because what's a Band-Aid? It's temporary, right?
Yep.
But we've been pitched pharmaceuticals as, oh, that's your new lifelong partner. And since literally every single medicine out there has a side effect or side effects, do you really want that the rest of your life? Right?
No.
So let's start there. I mean, you've been at this for a while. You obviously have integrated and really transferred your knowledge amongst other professionals, other practitioners, other practices. That's exciting to reach that point in your life, right? Where, dude, it's not just your little practice or your patient pool, which there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's what a lot of physicians,
Sure.
I think, want to do. They want to help people.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You're just doing it at a bigger scale now.
Yeah, much larger scale. So there's about 74 providers in 38 states helping it. Our practice, we have a very big practice. We have a staff of about 50. There's several providers in there. We see about 22 to 23,000 visits a year. So we have a large clinic. That's
wow. Yeah. So now let's pause on that, because I've learned from, again, I've been in the ketogenic world nowadays, just so you know, I've been this way for 5 years. I'm a heavy carnivore guy. I grew up on a farm. It's not rocket science. I love keeping things simple. And I always tell people, you do you. You don't have to do what I'm doing. You do you. I think that statement can be shared more in modern society.
Sure.
Without pushing people to go do things. All I'm here to do is share what's working. And then you do you. I don't share bad things. I don't share drug use. I'm not a fan of any of that. I've never done a hard drug in my life unless the doctor prescribed it to me, which again is good or bad. So let's expand more on this, because obviously I hit on I don't normally direct the show. I don't like to script it too much, but I just really love the fact that you have some talking points around all this GLP-1 stuff and injectable medications versus pill medications and all what this world is. So please, let's dive in.
Well, keep in mind, GLPs and compounded GLPs are semaglutides or trizepatides. Trizepatides are now legal to compound.
Okay.
And so I guess I probably shouldn't name any brands on there. That'll definitely create legal issues for sure for
Oh,
potentially.
nowadays it's like everything's a legal issue.
Well, yeah. So, but when you see commercials for semaglutides or GLP-1s and they're compounded, the feds have made those against the law and they're now illegal to compound beginning next month. And so you use a name brand prescription. And the reason for that is because when you're doing the peptides aren't regulated. So you don't know, it could be a guy in a bathtub in China with his cat and they're making him and you're pumping it in your body, hoping it's okay.
That is true. It's like, so it's technically, is peptides still considered the supplemental world or?
Well, it's a drug. It's a drug. It's not really a supplement because it comes from, it's a compound that requires a prescription. And it's a drug, so it's like a byproduct of a drug or a generic version of what a drug does.
Okay.
And they try to, trying to think of a grace way to say this. They try to get around, the patent laws to produce a drug. So what it's really designed for is if somebody can't take a particular dose of a drug and they need a different dose that's made, and the drug comes in 5 milligrams or 10 milligrams or 20 milligrams, and you need 7 milligrams, it's made so you could compound the specific dose somebody needs and their health requirements are met. It's not really supposed to be utilized as a side loop to bypass everything and create drugs that have patents on them or, things like that. Somebody did all the research and brought it to the world and now you're taking it and stealing it for profit.
Well, and on that theme or on that note, I've learned a lot more about how, for example, pharmacies versus compounding pharmacies, right? So there, I forget the name of the practice in Texas. Joe Rogan talks a lot about it. He's, obviously one of the most viral podcasters out there.
Sure.
A hell of a reach. But I know who he uses for all types of health nutty things and biohacking things that he does. That guy has a history of being a compounding pharmacist owner, right? So that's his world. So he owns the business. Now, I was just telling you before I hit record the show, I haven't even aired the show yet, but I'm testing a topical glutathione, right? And now I can say his name, but he's a 20, 30-year high-level pharmacist, Dr. Nayan Patel. And he basically figured this out because he didn't like the bioavailability and the absorption rates in human beings on glutathione, which we understand is tied to ATP production and, mitochondrial health, and which is the power plants in our cells. So as you can tell, I'm a geek. I like learning things from you guys.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize the importance of compounding pharmacies because I learned that a couple of years ago that, that's the way it was forever. There was always a ton of compounding pharmacies. Then the drug companies start taking over, controlling things. And it's almost can I say this? Does it seem like they're pushing the old school compounding pharmacies out or back, or they're trying to control it more? But then they realize you can't because there's hospitals that still need these compounding pharmacies to do custom formulations.
You need compounding pharmacies for sure. What they're trying to do is, the premise is supposed to be if I spend $1 billion and I create a drug, drugs really are going to be bribed. So everything on the planet, right? A drug is going to come from some type of herb or plant or root that's somewhere in the world. And somebody found out this does this, or this compound does this or corrects this symptom or this problem in the human body, right? Gotcha. Then they study it. They do all kinds of research on it. They make sure they try to learn the science background of it, the breakdown of it. They then create the same molecular structure in a synthetic drug because then it can be patented. So you can't, like, let's say if you eat an orange, it stops scurvy. Well, you can't patent an orange and then profit from everybody selling oranges on the planet and say, I'm saving you from scurvy. Give me $3 because you bought an orange. So when they make those medications, the intention is supposed to be when they show that to the world, they're entitled to a 7 or a 9 year range where they can make those drugs and the world benefits for whoever may need it. And you're not supposed to copy it.
Okay.
Now, if there's a shortage of that drug and the world needs it, then a compound pharmacy can copy that drug and spit that out. And that's within the FDA guideline, and that's acceptable. But that's made to protect the pharmaceutical carrier that spent $1 billion or whatever they spent creating that or bringing it to market so they can recover those costs and go on to saving the next thing.
Makes
that's
sense.
The intention.
I'm all about, it's funny because, again, depending on who you're talking to, right? We don't get into politics on this show. I don't get into religion on this show. It's just too polarized. I'm into sharing knowledge and just balanced intelligence. But these things are just so touchy. And I get it. And people now, God, this tragedy of the CEO assassination of the healthcare company. And these are crazy times, and
Yeah.
I think we've always had crazy times. It's just different kinds of crazy.
It's brought to your attention more now with 24-hour news and social media.
Yeah, exactly. Which I tell people all the time, like if you weren't plugged into social media, and I've literally done that as a service in my marketing business, I'm like, yeah, I get in and I get out. Like I don't stay in. Like
Yeah.
unplug.
Yeah.
But on these notes, I get it. If you invested millions and millions of dollars into scientific research, paying very intelligent scientists and laboratory maintenance costs and power and electricity and cooling, refrigeration, yada yada yada, I get it. You got to protect that.
Sure.
But I do wish there was some more fluidity amongst the competitors and sharing of best practices or partnering more back down to the compounding level.
Yeah.
Say, great, this is my thing, but yeah, you do your thing as long as it's not encroaching, right? But don't just smack them all down, which I'm seeing more and more of nowadays.
There's issues that occur with that. So if you to take your background in sales and marketing, so if you take a brilliant sales and marketing guy, and if you notice now, like the semaglutides or the trizepatides or the injectable weight loss medications, you don't really see as much today anyway, where as your day to your podcast, you don't really see as many commercials about weight loss. You're starting to see commercials about, lowers cardiovascular disease and heart risk. And this is just my conspiracy theory, but I think what's probably happening and what you see trends as a doctor is people take medications, and some medications they'll take forever, and some medications they take until they think they don't need it and they stop taking it no matter what their doctor says. So I think human nature for fat loss or for weight loss, people probably take the medication until they feel that they look the way they want to look. And then their mentality is, why would I keep paying for this? I'm not going to take it anymore. I don't think they realize, or from all the patients I've seen over the last several years, none of them realize that you're supposed to take that drug until you're dead. That drug is meant to be taken from the day you start.
It's the way they formulated it. Yeah. Yeah. Because if you just hit on the business of it, right?
Well, the business of it is let's get a drug everybody has to take till they're dead for sure.
Right. They want you on the business. Pardon the term, farm kid. They want you on the teat, right? They want you on the teat like a young child, right? Like you're on the teat, but we don't want you to get off. Like we need that recurring revenue. That's the profits. What
they've found now that it's been for a few years is they're finding that, I don't remember the exact percentages, but an overwhelming percentage of people, not because, a lot of the side effects, people stop the drugs quickly because the side effects are so bad. But the people that make it through the side effects then stop the drug after a certain point in time. If they've lost some weight or they feel okay or they're happy where they are, whatever that may be, they're stopping. And so the drug company, I think, then realizes, oh, geez, we told everybody you have to take this forever and they're not listening. They're stopping after a year, and only like maybe, I think, 10 or 15% continue on like the medication is supposed to be prescribed.
Well, I think we're seeing that already with the O word.
Yeah. So what's happening now is they're saying it's for heart disease and cardiovascular, and there's not a doctor on the planet saying we're going to prescribe this injectable weight loss drug for you for heart disease. There's no cardiology group right now going, oh my God, we got to quick get these out to everybody. Right? Yeah. If you lose weight and fat and you're becoming healthier, your heart is now in a better state. But nobody is taking weight loss medications for cardiovascular disease. That's absurd. Does that make sense?
I agree.
You can say that of true of everything, but I think what's really scary about that is in the public's perception, what their takeaway is, oh, these drugs are good, it helps my heart. And people don't stop taking heart medication.
No, but honestly,
when you get a heart medication because you've got an atrial fib or something and you think you might die, that's not one that you forget to take. You bring that on vacation, right?
See, I'm frustrated on that topic anyway, because my dad being a type 2 diabetic, I even had to is it weird that the son becomes the parent to the parent?
Yeah.
Is it so? They're mid 70s, and him finally listening to me a little bit, we got him down to just one diabetic medication, and it's like we've made a lot of progress. He's dropped weight, so I'm happy. But then his healthcare changed, and he had to change doctors, and the new person's like, oh well, you got to take this heart drug, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, why? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, why are you putting my dad on a heart drug? He's a diabetic. Well, we have correlate. I'm like, don't be throwing I know those words. Don't be throwing correlation versus causation at me, because I'm gonna take your doctorate and throw it out the window, because I'm about to show you who knows.
Yeah.
And I never want to do that to a professional like yourself, because you guys are highly educated. But I was like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. You're following this checkbox. And my family and my
That's
father
right. That's
has
what's
no
happening.
heart issues,
Yeah.
no cardiovascular problems whatsoever. You know, but
I've never met a doctor that believes you'll be better and more healthier taking more prescription medication than you would be if you're not taking it.
right.
Is there a time and place for, sure, if you don't have blood thinners and you're going to have a stroke, there's an argument to be made, or you're going to have a stroke because of hypertensive meds from a congenital disorder or something of that nature. But a lot of medications don't need to be taken. So again, if you eat less biscuits and gravy, you may not need, a cholesterol medication, for example. So now you've got a choice to make, right? It's at the end of the day, but that's not always human nature.
It's not, because my father and my mother want to trust their healthcare professionals, right?
Sure.
That's what I'm trying to do too. I don't want people to take what I'm sharing in the podcast world and think, oh, we got to second guess everything. I'm like, well, nowadays a little bit, but I'm not saying you just poo-poo it. Like, no, do your research. I think here's a statement I use. I'm intrigued to see your response. I believe we should be personally accountable for our health. And then our physicians are there as a resource. So we should be researching things more and figuring out how to reverse our triggers, because the doctor didn't trigger it. You did it.
Yeah.
So your lifestyle choices and dietary practices and our broken system here in this country, right? The doctors are here to help you, but you still have to have some level of accountability on your health. What are your thoughts?
You need accountability. Yeah. The problem is there's so much information out there, and a lot of times it's correct, but it's taken out of context.
True.
So we have patients come in all the time from, using Dr. Google, and what they're saying is accurate, but it doesn't apply to them at all, or it's being applied incorrectly, or the way they want to apply it, make it work. It's terribly inaccurate and not going to get the results that they believe they are. And it's just from a lack of understanding of what they're utilizing. That makes sense.
So how do you combat this? Because these conversations have to be coming up in your practice and your wealth of exposure amongst your fellow professionals.
Oh, they always come up. I mean, it's always easier to see a patient. I don't want to say that's less informed, because that's not necessarily accurate. But sometimes when patients are informed, it's a little more challenging to help them because they want to do their own research. But sometimes they don't understand that the particular problem they're having, if they don't understand the research or know where to get accurate research, and it's not on the internet, it's going then to PubMed, Google Scholar, knowing how to gather metadata analysis from multiple studies that are large studies that are done independently without the benefit of anybody. There's not a lot of people I come across that know where to find those types of studies to look and then derive how that applies to them and what a specific dosage of something may be or an effective use may be. They'll just go to the internet, and it might be, Mary from Minnesota's blog on what she saw her neighbor happened. It's not necessarily the best.
My mom, when I was younger, I can't remember the name of these things. Remember how they used to sell like the sets of like dictionaries and encyclopedias?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So we had that. Then they started coming out with like medical volumes. Like,
yeah,
my mom had at least 3 books, like I would say 3-4 inches thick. So whenever we had a problem, she would go research it and look it up, because we didn't have a lot of money on a farm. So I think a couple of times, this is probably not condoned, but there were some similar formulations in the veterinary world to the human world. There's actually, according to my wife nowadays, she's like, oh, that's very, very true. It's practically the same thing on certain medicines. So if there was an infection or some type of, or I was sick, like my dad would just go raid his veterinary supply stuff and say, okay, well,
his medical almanac, his farmer's almanac.
I don't know. I turned out all right. I mean,
I guess what best advice somebody could probably get would be to interview your doctor as if you could interview a friend or a spouse. So imagine like if it was socially acceptable to go on the first date and say, okay, what's your religion? How many kids you want? How much money do you need? Are you willing to cut back on shoes? How fancy does your handbag need to be? Where do you want to travel? That's not necessarily what you could do, but you could go right away. No, thanks, but it's been a real pleasure. Good luck. And you just, you take off.
That.
So if you could go to I shouldn't say if you could go to your doctor, and you have to realize doctors are just people. So it's, they still form beliefs through their filtered eyes they have of, again, like using an example, we do pain management, and we see a lot of people for arthritis. And I tell all of our patients we've got an overwhelming success rate using viscose supplements that you inject in the knees to help regenerate cartilage, and insurance will pay.
Oh wait,
Now,
what type of supplement is that? Because
it's called
my mom has been through hell with her knees. So
it's it's a visco supplement. It's what it's called. I'll share all the specifics with you with the name brands, and after our call, if you're interested, I could help you. But it's got an
because what's the stuff that people normally inject, but it's temporary, you can't use it too long?
It's chondroglucosamine. You're talking about.
I'm just thinking about the anti-inflammatory trigger.
So steroids, you'd want to stay away from steroids because they spike blood sugar, which increases weight loss. But steroids, the number one side effect of steroids is it causes arthritis.
Yeah.
So the number one side effect is arthritis. Why would you put something that causes arthritis in an arthritic joint?
Well, I agree. Like my wife's parents, they're about 2 to 3 years older than my parents, but I'm older than my wife. So it's just funny how that all works out. But so we got married, it'll be 6 years ago this St. Patrick's Day, and we did a heli skiing wedding in British Columbia. So like helicopters and like skiing in the backcountry.
Oh, wow. Nice. Yeah.
My in-laws went on a helicopter with us and went skiing in the backcountry. We put them on the intermediate level helicopter and we rented the advanced one. But the point is, they went and did this stuff and they're still skiing to this day. My parents don't do any of that. And I love them still, but it's exactly opposite of the lifestyle choices. But my mom, she's been walking with a walker, for over a decade now. Like she started doing that in her 60s. And I was like, wow. I mean, this isn't
you could probably change that, and any insurance in the United States would pay for that. With that visco supplement would help that in arthritis.
Now, are they doing that level of support? Like once you're past a certain age, you have Medicaid, Medicare versus Medicaid, all that type of stuff. Are they doing any of that in that world either?
Medicare will pay for it. In fact, one of the requirements for knee replacement is you have to do this first because the success rate's so high.
Wow. Oh, that's exciting.
It doesn't mean the doctor's going to tell her about it, but that's what you're looking for. So what you really want is you'd want to interview your doctor. So you'd want to say, look, this is what I'm looking for. And you kind of want to find out what their values are, how they have to operate. So you have to keep in mind, if a doctor's working for a hospital, what the doctor believes is not necessarily going to be what you hear, because the administrative people overseeing the doctor are going to say, here's what we say, here's what we don't say. We're going to put your stuff in a box and you're gone. And people don't realize that. So, it's, you ask a doctor when they're sitting with you drinking wine, a couple glasses in, you're going to get very different answers than you're going to get sitting in clinic, so to speak.
Well, I like this theme of interview your doctor because look at dating.
Think what you think or want what you want. It's what you want. So remember, you're paying them. Some doctors are great and some suck. Some don't care. Some are just there to get to 5 o'clock that night and go home. And some will spend a lot more time talking because they really care. So just in my opinion, a good doctor is going to give you all the options, not just the options they do, all the options that are available in the world of natural medicine supplements, and then refer you to somebody else that can do it based on what you choose, or say, I don't know how to do this, but here's who you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I made the joke before the show that I don't really go to my MD much anymore. And I'm not saying people stop going to your doctor. Let me just say that now, right? But I'm healthy as a horse. I donate. Actually, I'll be doing it this weekend again. I donate blood every 8 weeks. I always do it right after I get back from skiing because I'm just an athlete. So I know my blood's like supercharged with oxygen because I've been performing at altitude. So I want somebody to benefit from my super blood, Sure. And I call it giving an oil change, right? You're kicking the bone marrow back in. Let's reproduce. Clean it up. And I've been doing it for years. My wife and I have a little competition, like who's got more gallons. It's fun. We might be a little competitive, but my point is that I do all these things because I've been podcasting since 2014 or 16, somewhere around there. 16 officially the podcast, but just being a podcasting geek in general, consuming books, I'm a consumer of knowledge. I don't listen to music in my car. I'm constantly listening to both sides of the spectrum, right? Doing that said research. So if I get in front of a new doctor for some reason, I'm not trying to talk over them. I want to do the interview like you're talking about. I want to get that warm fuzzy knowing that they're not just going to do that 5-minute check the box like, oh, that fits this, so you get this and have a nice day. Right?
See you later. Good luck. Yeah.
I don't like that.
No, that's right. You probably want a private clinic. So nowadays, again, with doctors and oftentimes say hospital settings, it's like being in an attorney's office. They're on timers and they've got to see a certain amount of patients. They've got to move so fast. And if they don't, they get in trouble or they lose their job.
And I'm hearing more about
not like the old days.
Yeah. One of my former clients, he moved over he calls it a concierge
Yeah, you can concierge medicine or find a doctor in private practice. So if you're in private practice,
But they're all selling out, Doc.
What's that?
My current MD works for my old MD because my old MD owned the practice and they sold out to the local network. So now he's been bounced to a different thing and she's being bounced. And so I was with a private doctor and then he sold out to the local network. And
yeah, find another one. Yeah. Yeah, it's like your
hard.
Restaurant closes. What, you're not going to go out to eat anymore because your restaurant you like closed? You find another restaurant.
Yeah. Well, I'm just giving you an example of what some people may say, right? It's like
that's happening because medicine's gotten more challenging with the compliance and the government regulations. It's the most regulated business in the United States is medicine. It's very, very.
It's the most regulated, but also the most inefficient too, isn't it?
It is. Well, it's inefficient because the more, again, without being too political, the more that different bodies interview and stand in front of doctors, the more things get slowed down. Yeah. So, again, like with the National Healthcare Act and that Obama put in, again, without being political, that you notice nowadays you can't get in to see doctors maybe for several months, anywhere from 4 or 5, 6.
I wanted a mole checked. I never had a dermatologist, so
it never used to be like that. The reason why is for insurance to pay, we can't do as much in one visit as we used to do. We have to do only so much, and now we can't do more because your insurance won't pay. But if we're contracted with your insurance, we can't charge you because that's insurance fraud. So the insurance guideline says you can't do more than this today. You could do the rest on another day. So now it takes 3 visits to do what I could have done in 1. And now you time that by everybody, and it's finally caught up to us where it takes 6 months and see anybody for anything.
Well, you might get a kick out of this then. So I made the joke out, I crashed a mountain bike a few months ago, collapsed along, broken ribs, right? And a buddy of mine, I wasn't paying attention. I should have asked first because the new thing now is this. They said, well, just because you have insurance doesn't mean it's going to be 100% covered, right? So because I work for myself and I never really need it, I'm trying to find that perfect emergency backup healthcare plan, right?
Yeah, like you want catastrophic insurance is what you want.
Right. So long story short, I still have to pay $6,000 out of pocket after all their BS back and forth and filing this, and stuff was still trickling through until like a few weeks ago. Like this happened back in September, and they're still getting stuff approved and disapproved. Like, oh, here's another $50 you owe. Here's another $200 you owe. And it's like, I should just ask for the cash rate because everything is marked up if you don't ask for the cash rate, which is what I've learned.
Yeah. Well, for clarity, it's not marked up. The insurance carrier sets the price, and you can't have a 2-tiered fee system, so it's illegal.
Yes.
To charge different rates. So you can have a cash price because now we don't have the administrative burden of doing all the things I'd have to do with 7 other staff members. Yeah. I can just walk in and do whatever you need today and we're done. But that what you're talking about in the deductibles, that was the National Healthcare Act. That took everybody gets insurance, and that changed the landscape forever. Yeah. And now it is what you have now. So anybody that's unhappy now, that was saying back then, this is the best thing ever. If you're not really happy, then you got duped or you weren't paying attention.
Well, and I do know enough behind the scenes. Joe Rogan himself has brought a bunch of experts on from that world and shedding the light and saying, hey, guys, just so you understand that the workaround is, the healthcare is being overseen at a certain tier, but now these healthcare companies are buying the subsidiary companies like the pharmacies or whatever. And that's how they're able to hide the extra costs. Like, okay, well, I can't charge you too much here, so I'm going to bump it up over here because when I back bill it through these other entities that I acquired.
Oh, you're paying either way. Yeah,
you're going to pay either way.
You think you're not? You're paying.
The crazy thing is, like, because people just want to be healthy and they just want to get help, but they're not going to research this daisy chain ownership of companies owning these companies and find. Right? It's like they're just trying to trust the system.
But the certain percentage doesn't. So without sounding too sarcastic with it, so in that same vein, if you say people want to be healthy, people that you talked about asking like the GLP compounded drugs or the GLP weight loss drugs. I mean, people that want to be healthy will also start eating healthy. And if you're taking those medications and you're just eating 1 piece of pizza instead of 3, that's not health.
No,
you're just eating less.
I haven't had a piece of pizza in years. People think I'm a weirdo. I'm like, because it doesn't serve me, right? What you put in is what you get out, is what you're saying, right? It's like,
yeah, the minute you stop taking the medication, all that weight resumes. Yeah. It all resumes because now
you didn't change anything.
No, you're going back to what you used to do. So with the program we've got, we use lipotropic drops, but it actually changes it at a cellular level. So it reverses insulin resistance. It resolves metabolic syndromes, all those. But
And
that,
this is the stuff you have
wait,
spelled out on your site, right? I'm gonna do some screen sharing here, actually, real quick while you're saying this. You have a page here. Well, you have your, so again, this is your name is your website.
oh,
And then, so this is spelled out. I actually was on the science behind natural weight loss here, but then you actually have your program spelled out on its own page as well.
oh yeah, the
So,
secret for weight loss. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But that's the point, is that people want that magic pill or magic injection. And then they just seem to skip right over the side effects that are being told to you up
It is
front.
the most common challenge people have that at least that we see, or one of the most common challenges, maybe the top three, is people walk in and they say, I'm eating healthy, but I'm not losing or nothing's working. And that's kind of like saying, Chris, how do I get a girl to go home with me and have a great relationship? And you say, make her laugh. All girls love guys that laugh. So I say, Scott, I went to the bar last night and I brought a joke book. I told jokes and a bunch of girls were laughing. Then when when I went home, nothing happened. It didn't work. It's, well, it's a little more complex than that. That's kind of part of it. But so you can eat healthy and there's healthy foods, but if those foods that are healthy spike insulin, you're not going to lose weight. So if you eat, say, peas, corn, or carrots, that could raise insulin and it's going to turn weight loss off. But they're really healthy foods. So people think, I should eat almonds and avocado and olive oil. Those are really healthy. Well, they're healthy, but if you have enough fat in your body now, you don't need to be pumping more fat in no matter how healthy the fat is. You've got enough.
Yeah. Yeah, there's an equilibrium, right? You
Yeah,
have to get into understanding hormones like leptin and ghrelin and all that, right? Which you spell out on your site as
exactly.
well.
Leptin, ghrelin, you have the metabolic ones: insulin, blood sugars, leptin, ghrelin, adenopectin. So when you start to control those metabolically, you start to burn more fat than sugar, which is what people try to control with the keto diet, right? The keto diet's not bad as long as you can sustain it, but the average person can't sustain it. Like you'd mentioned, you're able to do that. The average person can't necessarily sustain that. So the way you keep weight off forever is you find a way for that particular patient so they can have the freedom to eat what they want within reason and still lose weight. So psychologically, if you feel like you're not dieting and you're losing inches, fat, and weight, we're home. Because you've been you for a long time. You're going to keep being you. That's not.
I tell people all the time. I mean, we have one scale tucked away in the bathroom cabinet, and we only pull it out to weigh the ski bag to make sure I'm under 50 pounds when I'm getting ready to load up for a flight. I don't weigh myself. It's because I also, everybody's always focused on pounds versus inches, and what you know. Great courses, right? We're talking about removing excess sugars out of your life, right? Balancing out your insulin levels, right? Balancing your hormone reactions out, right? Weight loss and weight gain is triggered by hormones. And that's being triggered by what you're putting in and how you're stressing your body, cortisol levels. Like, you can't tell from behind me, but the hotshot sign behind me I wrote my own book about when I used to be a hotshot wildman firefighter out west with the U.S. Forest Service, right? Very stressful job choice. Didn't know at the time. Just saw it as an adrenaline junkie thing. But the cortisol levels coming out of that job, 16 hours a day, not showering, wielding chainsaws, fighting wildfire, breathing toxic garbage. It probably took me a few years to clean up from that. But I was fluffy and I was stressed and I didn't have the definition, right? My knees were in pain. I'm older now. I have no joint pain, no knee pain.
That's great.
Yeah. Right. But in my 30s, I did when I was doing that was my excuse to leave the corporate world before I started working for myself. I was like, I'm just going to go have some crazy fun in public service. But okay, in my early 30s, I had all this pain. It didn't help the food that they were giving us and the government programs, the supporting the fires.
Inflammatory.
Fast forward today, I have none of it. Right.
Yeah.
Because I've educated myself. I don't take a pill. I don't take an injection. But people hear me say that, they say, "Oh, that's just you." Like,
it's a choice. It's a conscious choice.
Yeah.
It's that exact choice.
So I mean, you've been at this for a while. How do you get over the sales and marketing here, right? How do you get around the GLP-1 thing right now, the craze, right? Is it thanks to your years of experience? Is it thanks to you launching this program and having it established?
Well, I think
just about the mindset, the connection on communication.
Yeah, can you hear me okay? It's difficult to hear you. You're kind of coming in and out. Can you hear me okay?
You sound fine over here.
Okay, perfect. So it's I think a lot of people like I said, with the GLPs or those injectable weight loss drugs, I have not seen any patients, and we see a lot of patients. I have not come across a patient that had been told you're supposed to stay on that medication forever. That's a forever medication. They're not told that, so they're kind of surprised to hear it. And nobody goes to a doctor and says, again, what medication can you give me that I can take forever, right? So I don't think that most patients really want it. I think that they've tried to do what they believe will work, and out of frustration of not getting results and doing what they believe should work, not seeing results, they turn to that because they're uncertain as to what else to do.
I agree. And by the way, I switched microphones.
There's an adult out there eating a bag of Cheetos for dinner that says this is a great idea. I mean, I don't, yeah. So I think that they're probably doing I was taught early on, people do the very best they can with what they have. Most times anyway.
I agree with you.
So I think out of frustration, they turn to that because they don't know what else to do. We still definitely see a lot of patients that come in that say, I don't want medications, the side effects, it's scary to me. I don't want to deal with it that way. And it's really not hard to lose weight. It's a very specific science. It's not hard. And oddly enough, you don't have to exercise to lose weight. So if you exercise, you spike insulin, an insulin factor, and insulin turns off weight loss. You'll be more fit, but you're not going to lose weight. Right. So again, as long as you look good naked, nobody cares what you weigh.
Yeah. Do you ever hear the name Vinny Tortorich?
No.
I shout him out on the show all the time. He and I have been friends for years. He used to be one of my clients and viral podcaster as well. He's one of the early podcasters, but part of his background was he was before personal trainers became a thing, because he's in his 60s now. So he can say this. He's like, so before personal trainers like coming to your home was a thing, he was one of the first. Like, he was highly educated down in Louisiana. I forget that high level university down there. I mean, basically was studying alongside of people doing their doctorates, but he went, he was on the career path to be a high level, like phys ed teacher, but with all that science education. So whatever that major is, I don't know. He wasn't trying to be a doctor, but everybody else in the class hated him because he was a geek and was very smart, and he kept throwing off the curve. Asking too many questions. Long story short, he went to LA. He was the secret to the stars. Nobody knew about him because back then he just was word of mouth. But he trademarked the term NSNG, which stands for no sugar, no grains. That's the big secret to his old profession, because he said, guys, I could be the best trainer in the world and I will run you through the gauntlet. But I'm always reminding people, the kitchen is your weight loss weight. He's like, if I had to simplify it to the most simplistic thing,
98% it goes in your mouth.
Your kitchen is everything. He's like, exercise. Now he's like, that's the fountain of youth. That's your conditioning. That's your strength, right? Especially as you're aging. He's like, but exercise, his exact quote is, a terrible way to lose weight. And that's a big part of his shtick for years now. So, which
is ironic coming from a personal trainer, right? So it's what you eat, what goes in your mouth. Yeah. So again, like grapes, pineapple, bananas, they're great. They're healthy, but you can't lose weight eating them.
No, they'll spike. No, bananas. Look at the glycemic index on that, or any kind of exotic fruit, pretty high. Mangoes and pineapple and bananas and stuff like that. Because he makes the joke about that too. He's like, I'm not going to be giving you. He's like, if I'm getting somebody ready for a movie, he's like, you're not eating that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, healthy foods, just healthy. Food.
He's the guy I learned about leptin and ghrelin from.
Yeah, ghrelin, the hormone that makes you eat, and it gives you cravings, food cravings. So a lot of times, what's always not funny, but it always kind of tickles me is people will say they have a terrible sweet tooth and they don't have the willpower to not eat. And you have to realize that willpower isn't something that really comes into play if you understand the science behind weight loss. So using willpower to not eat certain foods is like telling a menopausal woman getting hot flashes, use willpower and just stop getting hot flashes.
Ain't gonna work.
It's idiotic. Yeah, it's absurd. Yeah. So if ghrelin and those hormones are in your bloodstream, they're going to cause cravings from neurotransmitters and hormones, and you're not going to beat it. It just goes higher the next day. You're going to buckle sooner or later.
It ties back to the brain, right? What is one of the most addictive things is sugar to the brain.
So one of the things you can do is just indulge in it. So one of the things we teach people in our program is how to cheat. So if you're going out on date night, I don't want you to manage something that's bad. So if you're going to have, say you're with your wife and you're going to have a piece of pie, I don't want you to split a piece of pie and think that you're doing fantastic because you're keeping your calorie count lower. You're still eating something that's spiking sugar and spiking insulin, and that's going to lower adenopectin and leptin that helps burn fat and controls that metabolic issue. I'd rather you eat half the pie, get drunk, eat the entire pie, dance on the bar, and give me a great story.
Hey, you
And
know what I
you'll do
did?
better off.
In
Because
Whistler,
what
I
happens
had a
is
piece of New York cheesecake, and
yeah,
I had a headache later because I don't eat dessert anymore because my body is so clean. But that's kind of
yeah,
the fun. That's the fun of this too is, okay, quote, I did a cheat, right? I'm on a vacation with my wife. I don't eat dessert every single week or every
sure.
single month. But the cool thing is, I remind people like when you get healthy and you get cleaned up, your body's talking to you better. And you can hear, you can, well,
Yeah.
feel when things like, okay, yep, there's that cheat, you know? I mean, do you talk about that in your program too?
We do
About
actually. What you said is an aha moment. I don't know if people actually realize it. I don't know if you realize what you said. So the reason you are the way you are, the choices that you're making, is not willpower. It's because when you eat those other foods, you don't feel good.
no,
So unconsciously, you don't choose to eat them because you don't want to feel bad, right? So picture like using an easy example like diarrhea. No, if you're going to, no matter how bad you want something, if you're on the toilet for a day with terrible diarrhea, you got to really want it
yep,
to go through those consequences. So what people don't realize is when they're eating the right foods and they're losing fat and they're losing weight, they feel so much better. Libido goes up, sex drives up, which is libido. You start
my
sleeping better,
wife can't stand
hormones
it.
come into play, right? And as you're losing weight and you're feeling better, we encourage you to go eat foods that are unhealthy on a cheat meal or cheat day. And you feel so bad from doing it that now unconsciously patients are choosing to eat the foods we want them eating because they feel better. And that's a very different feeling psychologically than us saying you have to eat this.
Hmm,
You choosing it because of how you feel and wanting it, you can do forever. You eating it because I tell you you have to isn't going to last.
good point.
Yeah, so but that little psychology with people makes a really big difference, and that's part of that aha. So if you do the right thing and make good choices Monday through Friday, you can treat your body like an amusement park if you choose to on weekends, and you'll still be okay.
Yeah.
Or you'll
I,
maintain your weight loss. Not that I say you should do that, but you'll keep weight off.
well, and I remind people that once you, even like me or somebody else, right? Once you learn enough, now you're your own worst self-critic, but in a good way, right?
Yeah,
At that aha moment you're talking about, like it took a few years for my body and my brain to get cleaned up and then know like, oh, if I make my mom happy on Thanksgiving and eat her apple pie, I will get a headache on the drive home. It's historic. You know, it's
yeah,
always been what's not. Oh, it's not always been that way. It's only been that way in the past 5-10 years because I never had a huge sweet tooth. So luckily,
sure.
but I quit beer years ago. I do have a nice scotch once in a while now, which is technically a toxin, right? It's an alcohol, or a nice red wine. But am I just chugging it? No. And if you have
Yeah,
too much red wine, I will get a headache, right? Your
sure.
body will talk to you.
It will. It's just finding a balance, right? And that balance is at a different point for each person. But if you find a balance with success, you're home.
yeah. And I
That's
think that's
key.
it sounds like that's what you guys are trying to get out of your program and your guidance is
Oh,
getting
absolutely.
people to those aha moments.
That's why I steered away from drugs because drugs will make people lose weight. And as soon as we take the drugs away, the weight comes right back.
Yeah, because they
And
didn't
then all
learn
of a sudden,
anything.
it's my fault because the program didn't work.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to teach somebody on speed that doesn't want to eat. Or again, if you're taking injectable weight loss drugs and you're not eating, like, they say that Ozempic face or the muscle issues and they're losing muscle atrophy because they're not
That's
eating
scary.
anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So what happens is muscle's lost, but the weight comes back. So if you're losing weight and the drops we have help steer appetite, but they steer appetite because they're affecting blood sugar and insulin and they're
Okay.
affecting leptin and adenopectin, but it's not a drug. You can take it on dialysis. You can take an active chemotherapy. It's not a drug. There's no side effects to it. So when you're eating the right foods and you're losing weight, we actually stop giving it to you, but we're still coaching you and you continue to lose weight in inches and body fat every week. And that creates that moment where people realize this isn't that hard. I can really do this.
Well, the exciting part there is, again, I go back to inches. That's why I loved your website too. You have tape measures all over the place. Yeah, there's a scale here and there, but
Yeah.
initially, it's always exciting to see the scale.
Sure.
But then I know because I used to help people. I've been a CrossFit trainer. I've been a ski race coach in my life. I always had physical fitness as my side hustle in my life because I just get bored. And I've helped people lose weight. I've helped people get stronger and fit in my life just in my free time. And people know I'm a geek. So, but I tell people like, okay, the scale is short term.
The inches is what matters, because then as you get super, super healthy and you're getting stronger, the scale might go in reverse, right? Because
Exactly.
you're
Yeah. So the
building lean
scale goes
muscle.
by muscle density. Muscle's heavier than fat. So I'm only 14% fat. I'm 54 years old. I'm 5'11", but my BMI is like 28.
Yeah.
That's obese.
My buddy owns the gym that my wife goes to, and I drop in once in a while. He's 5'8", and what'd you say you're at?
I'm at 14% fat.
He's probably 10. He's a ball of muscle.
Yeah.
And his wife is a high-level pharmacist at the hospital. Like she's doing now, she's leading their cancer formulation division or something.
Sure.
I don't know. She's a very smart woman. But even she has to basically second guess their testing protocols because they're saying that he's overweight. And it's like, he is lean and strong as I can't lift what he lifts. I'm like,
yeah,
he's a ball of muscle. And I was like,
I think from a chart from like 1968 on teenage boys or something where that came from.
That's why BMI has been a broken system forever.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm a big fan of inches and measurements, right?
Inches of body fat, visceral fat, that's what you want.
But look at power lifters. You got these power lifters that are just going for strongman competition.
Yeah.
And one world champion, he went carnivore recently, and all of a sudden you can see his abs. But those guys usually have big bellies.
Sure.
I'm not a scientist, but I'm like, how much you want to bet? There's probably some visceral fat buildup in there around those organs from some probably too much supplementation or protein shakes or whatever else they're doing to get that strong, because maybe they're fast tracking it, but in a negative way. And the only way you're gonna know that is that you got to go do some of your own advanced analysis, right? The regular MD's not gonna give you that. Maybe you guys do, but like I've gone and done like the water tank thing where they say that's one of the most accurate ways to weigh somebody's when you're floating in water and all that. Yep. It's been rebranded, but I went to KetoCon in Texas a few years ago for a ketogenic conference, and they had like this company like took vans and put the scanning beds in the vans, so you could just get in the van and they'll do a full body scan on you and get you your BMI and all that data too.
Yeah.
Like I said, I love data.
Sure. Yeah.
I've had a geneticist on this show years ago. He did a full supplemental and chemical analysis on me based on my genetic profile and my blood work. Like,
oh yeah, we'll do that with patients. We'll swab their cheek and we can get a 6-page report, a genetic breakdown to find out what vitamins they methylate, what vitamins they're going to need, what they don't have. Yeah. What food intolerances they have, if they should be lifting weights or doing cardio, if they should go heavy or light, how fast they should run, how long.
Yeah, I even found out that I had a marker. I never knew there's a marker, which I have, that says I could, if it's activated, I can metabolize caffeine twice as fast as regular people. Like,
mine's really slow.
Yeah, I was like, there's a marker for everything, man. It's
marker for everything. Yeah. Yeah.
But see, that's the exciting about practices like you guys. You are offering that.
Sure.
A regular entry level, base level MD isn't going to know those things.
No, they're not going to know those things. Most doctors don't know about weight loss unless it's a passion they've had or they spend a lot of time learning and researching. It's not something it's not taught in schools. We're just taught I used to box, and so everything I learned in boxing and to make weight, learned in school, the macros. Yeah, it's the complete opposite of everything we do now.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we focus on hormones and the psychology of that to make it very easy.
All the doctors and scientists I've had on this show over the years, you can probably confirm this. When you, what's your actual pedigree? It's your education.
My certification. I'm certified in manipulation under anesthesia and pain management and physiotherapies or rehab and chiro and then metabolics.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, but then you chose to start figuring out nutrition and everything else, right? So that's the cool thing when I see regular MDs or anybody really, or DOs or whatever, going that route, because they've all agreed in basic healthcare education, like doctoral education, you're not getting more than maybe a week, if that, on nutrition in the average medical educational cycle. It's pretty sad because there's so much tied to that. But
no, even the way we manage diabetes, they'll have dietitians. And again, it's not that dietitians are bad, so we don't offend people out there, but they're taught to manage sugar. We have patients coming in that are diabetic and they're taught to drink juice and eat candy when their blood sugar goes low. And that's not health. That's not how you
That's my dad whenever he had to go in and out of the hospital. Yeah.
Most of our patients come off diabetic meds that are type 2 diabetics in 60 or 90 days. And a functional medicine provider will get everybody. There's entire programs to get people off all diabetic meds.
See, that's just, I'll say it's just badass. That's so cool because it's proving that it can be done in a short, realistic, time cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the only diseases I'm aware of that is completely within the control of the person that has it. It's absolutely resolvable.
Well, I mean, again, if you actually trace it back decades, and now there's enough experts giving us the science, bringing back the historical data to the forefront, saying, guys, heart disease, heart attacks, right? Diabetes, type 2, not type 1, metabolic conditions. These are all man-made, lifestyle-triggered conditions that we created over our own mistakes of guidance over decades.
Yeah, over time.
So it's going to take a hell of a flip around to kind of get us back to the basics of, again, back to what I said earlier, right? The accountability for our health, the accountability of reaching out to experts like you guys to find the guidance, to find the programs, to consider the non-shot route, right? The non-pill route. But everybody wants the magic pill or the magic shot, Doc.
It was misleading. You remember back, like when you said you do a lot of keto stuff, you remember back in the days where there were fat-free Doritos? This is probably like 1997.
But they always fat-free? Because there's no fat in a chip? I mean,
well, there's fat in them.
Yeah,
sugar's fat-free. You're thinking because there's no sugar.
Actually, the biggest culprit, the first ones, it was they're famous. They were talked about for years in the early keto education. Snackwells. Snackwell was the early famous company.
So that people start eating all these really bad things, and it had Olestra in it. And all of a sudden, we realized Olestra causes anal bleeding, and people are eating just bags of chips and all this garbage that's fat-free. So we thought fat's what makes you big. Carbs are fine. Sugar, all of a sudden then everybody started that. That's, I think, how the pathway of insulin resistance started, is they were led down that path and that belief system and thought, right at all. And
then let's not get into the
freight train that we can't just reverse or walk back.
And and obviously the big topic around seed oils, which is valid, right? We used to cook things in fats that were heat stable. And then we go superheating a replacement that was never tested for that. And we see all kinds of problems.
Yeah. Well, not to mention, too, people get confused because olive oil is healthy, but there's 15 grams of fat in a serving. So if you put 2 servings in a pan and cook asparagus, your asparagus has got 20 grams of fat in it from the oil. Yeah. So again, it's healthy, but it's not neat. A better question is, do I need this? And if so, how much and how often? That's a different question than, isn't it healthy?
Oh, by the way, we are over our slot. Are you okay for a few minutes? So.
Yeah, I'm okay. I've got at 4:15. I have another Zoom.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'll make sure I give you a proper way to transition out of the show here. So
yeah,
I want to respect your time. I know you're a busy guy.
No,
so to sum all this up, I love the fact that you guys technically, per their website, are trying to get people away from the GLP-1s, right? I mean, it's
stop
absolutely. Going the quick shot route. The side effects aren't worth it. What was the timeline you just said? Your average patient you can help within 90 days?
We have our average patient. I was looking at, again, for a panel of like 20 med spas that are starting this, and they're getting rid of the GLPs. And they're going for our program. The average patient loses 32.8 pounds or something like that. And this is within a 90-day mark, and they lose up to 20.2 inches. Within 60 days, the average person loses 2 clothing sizes.
Wow.
Or 10% of your body weight in 60 days is a very safe bet. Like, bet your house with your kid in it and take it to the bank. That's a very low-hanging fruit that is a deliverable result for everybody doing the program. It's not hard. Without being
totally
hungry,
realistic.
Calories, without counting, no calorie counting, no exercise. It's just the science of weight loss. It's applying the right things the right way, and it comes off very quickly when done right. You know what I tell people? It's funny. Remember, like 20 years ago, if you remember, when you got directions before cell phones and navigation, you had a map in your car.
I used to use MapQuest. I'd print out the directions and
But you're going to a party and somebody said, find Target, go to the 3rd stoplight, take a left, count 5 driveways, look for the red car. Those were good directions back then.
I still talk like that.
Those are good directions. And now you hit a button on a phone and it will take you anywhere in the world in seconds and say, turn left, go 5 steps, stop, turn right, nope, further right, go. That science is kind of what's happened with weight loss now. Yeah. So it's really easy. It just hasn't caught up to everybody else.
Speaking, you had just mentioned clinics, right? These different Have you ever heard of a Sammy Tejada? I think he follows you.
So, I know
Tejada. I just aired him 2 shows ago. He owns the brand Liquivita, I think it's pronounced.
okay.
It's a bunch of wellness clinics. This is the guy right here. Yeah, Liquivita. But I aired him here. I'll move it over here.
Okay.
This guy. So again, everything you're talking about, wellness, weight loss. I wonder if he uses your programs because he follows you. So
he may be. Yeah, he may.
Yeah, but he's based out of Florida, former firefighter turned entrepreneur. But anyway, everything you're just saying is like, yes, he's doing, IV therapies, red light therapy, right? All those things that I've experimented with too. So it's exciting to see businesses like this popping up for geeks like me who are looking for the wellness route or those natural routes like you are. So
it's there. That's absolutely there. Yeah, you just gotta look around for a little bit, but it's there. You should get results with anything you're doing. If you're not getting results quickly, like quickly means in a week, 2 weeks at the most, something's wrong. No matter what again, something's wrong. You should.
That's a very fair statement. I
the right thing, the right way always yields a result. If you're not getting results in 14 days, whatever you're doing, you have to come to the realization that you got to abandon that principle or fine tune it. Something's wrong. Yeah, it's like gravity. I don't need for you to believe in gravity. Doesn't matter who you pray to, what you think of me. You jump off the roof, you're smacking the ground every day and twice on Sunday. It doesn't matter what you think.
You're pushing your knees into your hips in one form or fashion.
Exactly. You follow that science, man. It's there. And if you're not getting results in 7 days, it doesn't matter what you think. Something's wrong. Something's wrong.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's part of that accountability too is, are you truly listening to yourself or paying attention to these symptoms? And I think a lot of us have just gotten used to it. And they think this is what life is. And it's like, no, that's the exciting part that I get pumped about. I get fired up about is bringing on experts like you, lighting a fire in people to say, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to feel this way. I can feel differently.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy.
It's exciting.
Profound. It's profound how different everybody feels.
Yeah. Well, listen, I want to help you close. I always have my guest co-hosts help close out the show so I can respect your time and give you a proper goodbye off the air because you have a meeting coming up. So how do you want to sum all this up? I rebranded over the past few years when I closed the show out. I used to just say final words, but now I call it more of a legacy message. You don't have to go that route, but like when you're doing the work that you're doing and influencing at your level, I kind of do feel it's kind of a legacy thing. Like, why are we working so hard to change the world for a better place if we're not trying to leave something good behind? So summing up today's episode and everything you're doing in your healthy practices out there, like how do you want to sum it up for our listeners out there?
Let's, I guess sum up what they should be thinking or feeling, you mean, or?
It's up to you. You're the guest co-host, man.
How they do. I think, again, I think an easy way to sum up or believe is whatever it is they're doing. There's an expression I always tell patients in the pain management side is that medicine, if it's being used, always works, but doctors don't. Man, that pisses doctors off. But if you think about it, like say using whiskey as a drug, if I give you enough whiskey, you're going to get drunk. It doesn't ever not work. The odds of you getting a bad bottle and going and exchanging it for another good bottle that because you got a bad one at the grocery store for free is ridiculous, right? So the right thing applied the right way always works. So with weight loss, with overall health, with reducing blood sugar and coming off diabetic medicines, the right thing, right way always works. And if you're not getting results in 7 days, 14 max, then you got to change what you're doing. Don't continue to keep doing it. It's not going to work any differently in 30 days or 60 days.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well said.
And remember health. You want health, especially I'm a father of 3 girls, I have daughters. So it was important to me that they don't see, again, like parents drinking shakes and eating bars. And if you're healthy and you're doing the right thing, then that will balance out. You'll feel great. You'll look good. But I don't know, maybe everybody's kids are better than mine, but mine do what they see, not what I say as much. Right. So
that's my wife. She doesn't do what I do. But she's an adult. All right. I believe in leading the horse to water, but it's their choice to drink and observe.
But the impact of children seeing mothers inject weight loss drugs to lose weight versus making healthy choices comes to them. And our girls have told us over and over and over again, I can't believe how bad everybody else eats. Or I went to my friend's house and the whole family's literally sitting around eating bags of chips. And it's just, I couldn't believe it. There wasn't fruit. There wasn't this, that, and the veggies with the meal. And they're just astonished that not everybody does that, needs that. So it's, again, it was kind of an aha moment to me that you're impacting families and that how far that goes with kids and everything else as well for all the women out there that have children or men that have children, again, is what they see and what they learn.
I'm a big advocate for that too. I mean, my wife and I chose not to have children, but I love that very clean and very pure point is that it is our, and that's part of this show too, is like, I'm trying to affect the next generations, right? The Gen, and I'm Gen X, right? So the Gen Z, the millennials, all of it, right? We're passing knowledge on, but we want to be passing the good knowledge on, not the twisted stuff, that the mistakes we made. Yes, it's okay to make mistakes and we have to learn from them. So we want them to learn from our mistakes, but don't repeat them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well said, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Well, listen, hang tight. I want to give you a proper guy off the air. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to screen share one last time because, well, it's fun and it's high tech and this is going to be on YouTube. So people need to understand that when we're bringing on experts like this, they do have websites. They do have followings out there. So go check them out. Remember, the website is his name. So it's DR for Doctor, Todd with 2 Ds, CEVENE.com. Everything about his program, everything about the roles of inflammation, diet, everything is on there. It's going to be an easy place for you to get. This will be linked in the show notes like we always do. And as we always say, as we close out the show, we're here to fuel your health, your business, and your lifestyle. The doc helped us do that today. So thanks for tuning in. And remember, you too could live the fuel, and we'll talk to you guys again soon.
Thanks for having me.